Hello, Professor and class. This is Giovanni. For my presentation today, I decided to compare the Orange County Healthcare Agency, also known as HCA, and Telecare Corporation. Now, both of these agencies have very similar mission statement. HCA mission statement is that it is in charge with the protection and promoting of individuals, families, and community health, including mental health and alcohol and drug services. Telecare's mission is to deliver excellent, effective behavioral health services that engages individuals with complex mental health and recovery needs. Now, Graham Allison asks, are public and private organizations alike in all unimportant respects? Now, he concluded that they are alike in many managerial respects, but differ in the ways that matter most. I agree with his conclusion. Although the Orange County Healthcare Agency and Telecare share similar mission statements and managerial functions, Graham Allison was correct to argue that they are not alike in the ways that matter most because they differ in their organizational foundations, structures, and accountability. Now, those differences make up the themes of my argument. For my first theme, organizational foundation, I am asking the question, why does the organization exist? Now, by using the theories of Leonard White, Chester Bernard, Anthony Downs, and Graham Allison, I will demonstrate how the organizational foundation of a public organization differs from that of a private agency. Now, the answer is public demand. Leonard White was one of the first scholars to argue that public administration exists to accomplish public purposes through effective management. HCA was created in response to public needs identified through government. To this day, it is evident in the development of new departments such to address community needs. For example, the CARE Act initiative, which I currently work for. Now, Chester Bernard adds to this argument by stating that organizations function because people continue to cooperate towards a common purpose. HCA employees cooperate with stakeholders to fulfill the mission established by the Orange County government. Now, continuing with this theme, I will discuss Anthony Downs' explanation of how government creates or expands bureaucracies in response to public demand, such as the CARE Act program I just mentioned. Lastly, I will use examples from Alice's article to show that government entities like HCA exist because government has an obligation to serve the public, while private agencies like Telecare exist to provide services often under contract with government entities but are not part of the government itself. For my second theme, I will demonstrate the differences between the two agencies in their organizational structure and, more importantly, why. For HCA, I will use both concepts and theories to support my argument. I will start with the genesis of all government agencies, the government itself, and how the Constitution established the authority and responsibility of different levels of government. I will then move on to the division of government powers through federalism. Once that is explained, I will discuss Morton Gordon's and his argument that government entities do not work in isolation but in partnership with one another. Now, this is important for HCA because many of its services are coordinated by the county, state, and federal governments. Once this has been established, I will discuss the Pendleton Act and how government positions are based on merit, which now will lead me to Luther Skulik and his organizational structure and managerial duties, such as POSCorp, and how government agencies must base all aspects of POSCorp on governmental requirement. Lastly, I will discuss Katz and Kahn's open systems theory and how the continuous input of community resources keeps HCA operating. The last thing I will discuss is why HCA and Telecare differ in accountability. As a quick comparison, Telecare is accountable to its board of directors and contractual agreements, while HCA is accountable to the public. To demonstrate this difference, I will use the theories of Graham Allison, Max Weber, Herbert Simon, and Paul Appleby. Now, Allison argues that the government agencies and their manager answer to citizens, elected officials, laws, and multiple stakeholders. Weber provides the rules, hierarchy, and procedures that promote fairness, consistency, and accountability. HCA, as a government agency, must follow Weber's bureaucratic principles in accordance with governmental policies. Telecare is not held to those same public administration requirements. Herbert Simon discusses the concepts of bounded rationality and administrative decision making. HCA managers must make decisions based on legal, political, financial, and organizational constraints. Lastly, Paul Appleby argues that public administration serves the public interest, which is exactly what HCA is designed to do. Telecare, despite working with the public, is under no obligation to serve the public interest in the same manner as the government agency. In conclusion, my essay will demonstrate that the differences between HCA and Telecare is significant in all important respects, including their foundation, structure, and accountability. Thank you all for your time. God bless.